Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Debbie Khalil. I am at USAID in Washington, DC, and serve as the contracting officer representative for the ASAP project. This is our 7th of our webinar series targeting PEPFAR USAID local partners. And we are thrilled to have today a series of details on trainings that are going to be available starting very soon for local partners. And we are lucky to have presenting today Suzanne Mabaso, who works at Foundation for Professional Development based in South Africa, talk through the various trainings that ASAP will be offering. These are trainings that FPD will be supporting, as well as Sustainability Solutions and DAI, all members of the ASAP community. Before we get started, just to let people know, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A box and we will try to address them during the presentation. Catherine Brokenshire-Scott, the ASAP project director, is on and will be facilitating the Q&A throughout the session. And with that, I will turn it over to Suzanne to start the presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. Can everyone hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much. And thank you for this opportunity. Through the ASAP program, USAID has made funding available for local partners across Africa to access a number of ASAP-sponsored training programs. And I have been asked to give a quick overview in terms of what training programs are available and how interested participants can apply for scholarships under the ASAP program. I think what I would like to propose, Catherine, is maybe would you like to go through all the training projects, or should we pause for questions and answers at each one of the breaks?
I'll give you a cluster of questions when they come in.
Okay.
And it might be after a particular class or after some of the other slides.
Great, thank you so much. So this presentation just gives a basic overview of FPD as well as our role under ASAP and how we approach providing training, and then very specifically what our existing online and e-learning functionality is. And then we have a list of all of the courses that we have available from FPD, as well as other ASAP members who are Sustainability Solutions and DAI, who will be using FPD's learner management system to provide some of their training courses. And at the end, we will explain the processes around how to apply for the scholarship and what to expect throughout the process. So FPD is a South African-based organization. We are registered at a private higher education institution, and we were established with the mission to catalyze social change through developing people, strengthening systems, and providing innovative solutions. We were created in 1997 as an extension of the South African Medical Association, but were registered as a higher education institution in 2000. We have been working with PEPFAR since 2005 and have had a lot of experience both as a prime as well as managing subs under PEPFAR grants. As I had mentioned, we are registered with the South African Department of Higher Education and Training, and we are also an accredited service provider to provide continuous professional development, or CPD, by the Medical and Dental Professions Board of the HPCSA. And what's important to note is that the other healthcare councils in African countries recognize the FPD accredited programs for healthcare professionals. On account of our registration, we offer formal qualifications, CPD accredited short courses, as well as non-accredited short courses. And the current sponsorship that has been made available by USAID is focusing on the CPD accredited short courses and the non-accredited short courses. To date, through generous donors and sponsorships, we have been able to provide over 650 million Rand in educational grants and have trained over 436,000 students since we started training in 1998. We have been, although we are based in South Africa, we have been expanding our footprint throughout Africa and increasingly have been moving on to an e-learning virtual training platform with the primary objective of bringing training as close to where people live and work and removing barriers of access to continuous professional development. So now specifically in terms of this training program, we are supporting the ASAP program by providing discrete training. So we were contracting to do in-person, face-to-face training, provide blended training, as well as online e-learning in support of leadership development, monitoring and evaluation, and other courses as deemed necessary. In light of the COVID pandemic, we are offering an extensive portfolio of e-learning and virtual training products, which I will be presenting, and we'll also be offering some COVID-related training programs. And in general, our approach to training is developing training programs that meet a professional in terms of their needs and requirements, and understanding that professionals need easy access to training that is appropriate for their work environment that they can use and access at their own pace. We use a learner management system that is Moodle compatible, and it has been up and running 100% uptime since its launch in 2013. And our learning platform is currently being used by professionals across the African continent. So although we have a number of different modalities by which we provide training, the current sponsorship has two types of training that we have on offer. The first we are referring to on-demand e-learning, and this is your traditional e-learning where participants enroll and they study at their own pace. It might include watching videos, watching narrated PowerPoints, reading articles, reviewing content that is posted on a web page. They take assessments and you can upload your assignments all on the learner management system, and everyone studies at their own pace. We have a new functionality that we launched in 2019 that we are scaling now, particularly in light of the COVID pandemic, around virtual training sessions. The easiest way to explain the virtual training program is that it's like Zoom, but set up for education with access to a number of different educational tools. And I'll be presenting about that in detail forward. So each one of the courses will indicate if it is an on-demand e-learning program or if it is offered through the virtual training workshops. Just a picture of what to expect for one of our on-demand e-learning where people log on, they can see the course that they're taking, the introduction, and can access the various videos or download documents or take quizzes or participate in surveys. And individuals can track their progress through the learning material. The virtual classroom is also accessed via our learner management system, and people will enroll in a specific virtual class. For example, this room 1 would click into that room 1 and would be in a virtual classroom with their facilitators and the other students at the same time. And in terms of functionality, the virtual training classroom, it has a digital whiteboard that the facilitator can use. People can go into breakout rooms where you can do small group discussion and group work, and then be reconvened back into the larger classroom. There is option to record the real notes. And what is also important to note is that our learner management system can be accessible from a computer, from a laptop, from a tablet, and also most smartphones. An example of what our virtual training classroom would look like if we were writing on the whiteboard and the facilitator looking at us from the bottom corner. Participants can chat amongst themselves, raise their hand, and then also go into their breakout groups. In terms of accessibility, just to put that out there as people decide what options are available, the FPD's Learner Management System to access our e-learning training programs can be accessed by a smartphone, a tablet, or a PC, and it requires an internet connection of about 2 MBs per second. The virtual classroom is accessible at the 2 megabytes per second, but it works better with fewer glitches at a 4 megabytes per second. And obviously the virtual classroom requires uninterrupted access to internet. For some of the programs that we do e-learning, you can download the material, some of the material, and read it offline as well. And people can use any of the web browsers to access our learner management system. And so far, as FPD, we have logged over 1.6 million CPD hours via our e-learning platforms. So that's just a little bit about the technology and the experience from FPD. And now what I will do is just give an overview of the types of sponsored trainings that we have available. But I think before we go into the details of the training programs, I would like to pause for Catherine to ask if there are any questions or anything I need to clarify.
Suzanne, there are no questions yet. I imagine there will be when you present the classes.
So we have, through USAID's generous sponsorship, 940 scholarships available. And these scholarships are from 4 of the FPD schools. And people may apply for the scholarship, and we will accept entrance between now, the 18th of May, and the 30th of September. And people can continue and finish their course even post the 30th of September. So we've got 5 courses on COVID from our School of Health Sciences, 1 course on COVID from the Occupational Health and Safety. We've got 3 FPD management training programs, 1 DAI course through the virtual classroom. I apologize here, we have 4 short courses from Sustainability Solutions. And we also have the option to use our virtual classroom to respond to ad hoc training needs and capacity development. And then we also have a number of training products available from the FPD School of IT that are particularly useful for people involved with business intelligence, analytics, and M&E. So just to give a quick overview, these slides will be circulated to all of the participants. And this is really just to give you an indication of what the course is and what to expect. We have a current short course on COVID-19 for healthcare professionals that included updates. We launched this course in February and added some updates in March. However, as the epidemic is evolving and we're learning more and more in the African context, they are updating the course again, and next week by the 22nd of May, we will relaunch this course for healthcare professionals. Okay, I'll just pause to look at the modules. I can see lots of questions coming up. Catherine, you'll interrupt me if you would like. Okay. A new course that we will also be launching on the 22nd of May is called Mental Health Resilience for Healthcare Professionals. And this is really targeting healthcare professionals who are working on the front line, managing COVID and giving them their own skills to manage with their own mental health and giving them updates with regards to what to expect and promote mental health resilience and inner peace. I had mentioned it earlier, but to clarify, all of the courses for the healthcare professionals through our School of Health Sciences are CPD accredited, and the level at which they are accredited is noted on the slides. We have a new course that we will be launching at the end of May. The projected date is the 29th of May. It is a short course on gender-based violence in the COVID environment. And it's really looking at how to continue to provide supportive gender-based violence programs and just understanding what to anticipate in the context of the global health emergency and COVID in particular. We have a course that we've developed in South Africa and have adapted as a technical guidance for people who are setting up COVID screening, testing, and treatment sites. And this is really just helping facility managers, hospital managers, administrators who have the responsibility to set up and manage these screening and testing and treatment sites, and just guidance in terms of how to proceed with that. So this was set up in the South African context, but would be likely applicable in a lot of the other countries as well. We have a short course. This is not CPD accredited, and it is not exclusive to healthcare professionals. This is a 7-day mental health kit for surviving the lockdown. And this is a 1-hour session for 7 days that really look at helping people maintain and improve their mental health and well-being during the COVID lockdown.
Suzanne, we have some questions on
Yes.
what flexibility exists in a situation where there prevails a very weak internet connectivity that does not qualify the 2 to 4 megabyte second requirement just mentioned to ensure uninterrupted courses.
The uninterrupted requirement is for the virtual classroom. So the virtual classroom uses less bandwidth than your standard Zoom calls, for example. So when you're doing the video on the Zoom. So if you're able to work on Zoom, you can access our virtual classroom. If you have okay coverage on Zoom, then often our virtual classroom still works. So our warning is if you're looking at various training products and you don't have access to uninterrupted internet, then the virtual classroom may not be an option for you in your setting. In terms of the e-learning, there is material that you can download for some of the courses and read offline, and then do some of the course when you do have internet that is available. So we put that in as a guideline. If there are specific courses that people are interested in, some of the courses we do have available as distance education, and we could see if we could meet some of the requirements. So my suggestion is if you are interested in a specific course and internet connectivity is a concern, when you apply for the scholarship, please note that, and we will see if there is an option that FPD could provide that would allow for some distance education as an alternative. Right now, we are not allowed to provide face-to-face training.
That's all.
I answered that question? Okay. The next one is from our Occupational Health and Safety and Wellness School. And this is a short course on COVID in the workplace. And this is developed for the general business community, but also for NGOs and organizations who are trying to continue to provide this services within the context of COVID, both in terms of organizational sustainability, but also what we have to do to protect our employees, to protect our beneficiaries, and mitigate the impact of COVID and the risk of further infection. So this is similar, but much more comprehensive than the webinar that we had, I think about 3-4 weeks ago, where we touched some of the topics around business continuity planning, as well as creating a safer workplace. Any questions with this? This is the only course from our School of Occupational Health and Safety.
There is a question. What other programs do you have in the FPD School of Business Management? I think you can get to that a little bit later.
So I have got these are the ones that we have currently available for sponsorship via this, but we also can make sure that we send out the link to the FPD Business School. If you just go to FPD's website, www.foundation.org, fpd.co.za. You can find the various schools and educational offerings and see all of the courses that we have available. The ones that I am presenting today are the ones that are available for sponsorship via USAID.
Okay, thank you. And another
Sorry?
question, is it possible to download classroom learning videos to watch them offline in addition to written material?
So some of them, yes, and some of them, no. And so it really depends on the course and how it is set up.
Okay, and somebody's asked to send the presentation handout through emails as there is network instability for clearly listening. Okay, sorry for that. And yes, we will send the presentations out.
Yes. Okay. What I will do is I have, for people who are very concerned about the internet connectivity and what is feasible in these various settings, I will ask our team to put the recommended guidance down, and then people can understand what could work best in their situation. But what I do want to highlight is we have, through the UNFDP as well as UNESCO, provided training to educators, teachers across the African continent. And they were able to, many of them were able to engage and log in to the training programs, even without having the most stable internet services. And our on-demand e-learning programs are much more forgiving in terms of internet. And sometimes you have that buffering as you're waiting. But unfortunately, with the virtual training program, you really do need that uninterrupted internet to access. So to come back to the business school, we've got a number of short courses that are available via the FPD Business School, as well as a number of workshops and training programs by ASAP Consortium partners. Okay, so the ones in terms of the ASAP Consortium partners, Sustainability Solutions is offering 3 short courses, and DAI is offering 1 short course. The DAI program will be developed via the virtual training classroom, and Sustainability Solutions is working with FPD to determine whether it is more appropriate to deliver its training programs as an e-learning or a virtual training program. So to summarize the short course, we have a 3-month-long online short course that is self-paced, targeting managers on an introduction to project management. So this is designed more for people who've never been trained on project management or feel that they're not comfortable with the basics of project management. It is an introduction course. We do offer more advanced courses, but this is the only one that we have as an e-learning option at the moment. We also have an introduction to financial management. It is the equivalent of 2 days of learning, but we deliver it via the virtual classroom. So we break it up into about 8 2-hour workshops that are run over a period of time. And you can see the modules and the topics that it covers. What's important to note is for the on-demand e-learning training programs, individuals enroll when they are accepted onto the scholarship and they study at their own pace. For people who are interested in the virtual classroom, we will be having to try to organize at least 10, preferably 15 participants in order to book the virtual classroom. We have from Sustainability Solutions 3 courses that will be offered: Managing USAID Cooperative Agreements, and you can see the topics that are covered below. We have got the Subaward Management from Cradle to Grave, and I will pause and allow you to read the topics that are covered on this one.
While you're paused, let me ask you a few questions. One, is there a possibility for the trainings to be face-to-face after COVID-19 restrictions are lifted?
From FPD's perspective, we are very excited for when we can do face-to-face training. So contingent upon available funding, FPD's model is to bring the faculty to where the participants live and work. So there is that option.
Yeah, that's the same from our situation. Most of these courses are normally done in countries, in Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, for a group of participants, just like we did for Ethiopia under ASAP.
Thank you. Next question. Is there any supporting documents required for frontline health workers to qualify for COVID-19 courses?
For some of the courses, you have to provide evidence of your registration with your relevant health council, because certain courses are pitched at different levels. But that will be, what we will do is we will circulate out all of the brochures of the training program so people can see what the requirements are to access for the healthcare professional training programs.
Okay, and last question for this set of questions. I'm not sure if I missed the calendar date for the GBV training in COVID environment.
GBV training, I believe it will be launched on either the 22nd or the 28th of May, but all of our on-demand e-learning programs, they're available for people to study at their own pace. So as soon as it goes live onto our learning management portal and people apply for the scholarship and they receive approval, they will receive a voucher and they will be able to log in and study at their own pace. So just to summarize, we expect the GBV program to go live at the end of May.
Thank you. That's all.
Okay. There is a third program by Sustainability Solutions, a short course on fighting fraud. And I will pause and let you read your bullets. And then lastly, from another ASAP consortium member, DAI, they have a short course on public finance and accountability during COVID-19. And this would be delivered via the FPD ASAP virtual training classroom. So it would be a virtual workshop where we would be looking for probably at least 10 to 15 participants and book a workshop, and all of the participants would log in at the same time to engage with the facilitator and their colleagues who are also attending the course. So I will pause to allow you to look at the topics. Okay, I believe there's one more FPD course. This is an on-demand e-learning program. It is a short course on M&E for PEPFAR. And this course is designed for the more junior M&E staff, people who are just learning how to do M&E in the PEPFAR environment. And it just gives an introduction to what's an M&E plan, how to develop it, principles of monitoring, using data, reporting it, data quality assessments, and also understanding M&E in the PEPFAR environment and the digital age. It is, and then lastly, we have the virtual classroom. So based off of demand for specific skills development needs, we can organize short workshops to do skills development via the virtual classroom. And that is it for the FPD Business School. I would like to pause and see if there are any more questions for myself or my ASAP consortium colleagues who are also offering workshops.
Suzanne, we don't have any additional questions in the chat or the Q&A, but I would request people to put their questions into the Q&A instead of the chat, please.
And then lastly, we also have sponsored courses in the FPD School of Information Technology. In the purple box, just highlighting the credentials, the FPD School of IT is an active Microsoft Imagine Academy and is able to offer a number of internationally recognized Microsoft certifications. And we have recently, very proudly, been approved as a Certiport authorized testing center and now have the permission and ability to do remote proctoring. So people who are looking at doing exams to display competency in IT, we can do it via our IT school for people even despite the COVID lockdown. And people log in and participate on the testing site. So we have a number of short courses that are available, and I'll proceed. So the first one is a short course on Microsoft Teams for end users. And this is really designed for organizations that are learning how to work on Teams during the COVID lockdown and just really understanding its functionality and how to best leverage this technology while organizations are on lockdown. You can see the list of modules that it covers. In terms of the short course in Excel, we have 2 courses in Excel. We've got the core, which is the basics, and the advanced. People who are interested in improving on their Excel skills, they have to take a competency assessment online, and that will determine if they must go onto the core or onto the advanced level. And there is an exam at the end where they can get an internationally recognized Microsoft certification. And the target audience for this is really the M&E people, the health information people, the people who are working with your data and your large data sets and visualizations. I'll proceed. We have the next level, which is the advanced, which builds on the core. And it is also really more intended for the people who are working with the large data sets, and particularly if people are planning on working in the space of supporting BI dashboards and some of these other larger databases, this is a recommended useful skill. And then I've just listed here for the people who have health information management people who are supporting the large data sets for the PEPFAR partners. There are a number of more intense Microsoft courses that are available that are listed sort of in the sequence of competencies as they build on one another that I have. And then lastly, we can also use our virtual training classroom to do capacity development workshops with partners as they work with improving the data analysis, data presentation, and data visualization for their programs. And the duration and the scope of the workshops can really be defined based off of need. Again, from a workshop point of view, we would prefer to have at least 15 people in the workshop in order to participate. So this sort of just summarizes the various platforms that we will be using under these ASAP sponsored courses, the on-demand e-learning, as well as the virtual training sessions and the courses that are available. Okay. I'll pause there, Catherine, before we go into the process of how to apply. If there are any questions.
Well, we have the question of, can you please share the presentation? And yes, we will absolutely share the presentation, and we'll also send out a flyer. The next question is related to what you're just about to present. Can you please highlight again, how does one apply for scholarships? Also, do you have to apply for a scholarship for every course?
Okay. So we have discussed amongst ourselves and decided it will be easiest for participants to register online via a Microsoft form that we are setting up for this ASAP scholarship program. So if you have any specific questions about internet access or what specific courses cover, you can always email the ASAP training at foundation.co.za if you have questions. In terms of how to apply, we will be sending out a link early next week to a Microsoft form. It won't take a long time for you to fill out, really just entering who you are, what country you work for, what organization you work for, if you work for the Ministry of Health or a local partner, your role in the organization. We're also asking about qualifications because that is a requirement for some of the healthcare programs if you're interested, and you can indicate which courses you are interested in applying for the scholarship. So once you submit the form, we will be able to acknowledge receipt of your application via email, and then the scholarship request will be reviewed by an ASAP committee. We are trying to make sure we give feedback within 1 week of people's applications, but certain courses may be more popular than others, so we're asking for a bit of patience, but you will hear from us, keeping you updated within the week. And then once somebody has been approved for a scholarship for that program, you will receive an email from FPD announcing the approval and also providing a voucher number and instructions in terms of how to access the course, as well as a link in terms of to access the course. And then once you get approved for that specific course, you will have to log on to our learner management system, register yourself, enter your voucher number, and then you will study for that course. So if it is an on-demand e-learning program, you can start that very second. Or if it is the workshop, the virtual training workshop, we will send you the invite. You can register yourself. Often with the virtual training workshops, there is some pre-reading and learning material that you can review before the workshop that is available on the learner management system. And then you will log in at the specific date and time of your workshop for the virtual training workshop. We are proposing to offer these scholarships on a first come, first serve basis, but also understanding that certain courses have entrance requirements, as one of the questions before had been about proving qualifications of healthcare professionals to access the healthcare professional training programs. And then USAID is asking that we are prioritizing local partners in Africa for these courses, although that is not an exclusion criteria for other people who are interested in applying for the courses. Although people may apply for more than one scholarship at a time, we want to give people an equal opportunity to apply. So what we will do is we will grant approval for the scholarships one at a time. And when somebody finishes a course, they can be approved for a second scholarship. And then lastly, we would like to highlight for you that if you accept the scholarship and you fail to complete the course, this may result in you being excluded from future FPD training scholarship opportunities. And we're really making sure that it's clear that there are a limited number of scholarships available. I mean, we're very fortunate that we have 940 scholarships available, and we want to make sure that people who accept these scholarships have the intention to complete the training program. And I think at that point, I would like to pause and open up for questions or additions from my ASAP or USAID colleagues.
Okay, we have a lot of questions now. Is it possible to pursue more than one short course at a go?
Technically, yes, but a lot of these short courses, particularly the COVID, are about a certain numbers of hours or a certain number of days. So you would be going through a course and completing it. So programmatically, it makes more sense to start the course and complete the course than enroll in multiple courses simultaneously. We may consider a different approach if somebody's interested in enrolling in the longer term project management course, but would also like to do the COVID course as well.
And next question, when is the Subaward management course starting?
That, Doug, is, I believe, yours, so I'm going to defer to you.
Yeah, great. Thanks very much. I saw, Suzanne, you had 16 hours. Now, currently, the course isn't that long, so it's going to be important that
Doug, you've gone on.
there you go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Okay. what I was saying was it showed the course being 16 hours. It can be, but it is currently not that. It's about 4 right now. So that could be, well, again, it depends. And I certainly want to talk with the mission and our ASAP team, because again, there's a difference between US primes and non-US primes. So I'm assuming our target audience is mainly, ASAP or people who will become new primes. And so let's just say it depends. It will be at least another month before, well, I need to work with USAID as well. So it'll be, it's not available tomorrow. Let's just say that. I would suggest within about 1 month, the 4-hour course.
Doug, if I may propose, what we can do is, as these virtual training workshops become available, we can also send out broadcasts to people to apply.
Sure, yeah.
So we will have a waiting list of people who are interested. So if you're interested in the course, we can keep you on the waiting list, and when it is ready, give you the notification. But we can also send out broadcasts that new courses are available.
Okay, and just let me just jump in there on the question of multiple. I mean, from our point of view, managing a cooperative agreement is, although one would want to take the modules sequentially because they build on each other, certainly there's no reason why one couldn't do fraud at the same time as subrecipient management. I mean, they're related, but they're not dependent on each other. I would think the compliance management or your award management would come first logically. Then things build on top of that once you understand your relationship with USAID.
Thank you, Doug. The next question is there any training programs on IPSAS? IPSAS. So does your financial management course cover that? We might need to answer that at a later date. Okay, a question. We've already answered that one. Okay, would you please send the specific schedules for training? A lot of interest in subaward management and financial management, so that was the same question. Okay, what is the tuition fee in terms of Ugandan currencies for the 2 courses, subaward management and financial management?
So in terms of these courses that were presented here, they are available via scholarship. So there would be no tuition fee for people who are successful, but each one of the courses does have its own costing. So I can share that. I think my costing would be in Rand, and I would have to do a quick conversion to dollars, but it's about 3,000 Rand if I'm not mistaken. For the FPD Finance, Introduction to Finance. I can't talk on behalf of the virtual training workshops for sustainability solutions.
Okay, but we are offering all of these on scholarships, so there'll be no fees associated if you're attending through ASAP.
And this is, Debbie, just quickly to jump in, I think what we want to emphasize, these are options. The trainings are available free of charge, but are, quite costly to take otherwise. So this is a great opportunity for people to take advantage of free training for our local partners.
Thank you, Debbie. Next question, are the IT courses subjected to exams? And if so, how many times can the trainee sit and take the subsequent exams without paying additional fee?
There is a fee, and so the current sponsorship includes the examination. There is a fee with the proctoring for these remote exams. So I will have to follow up with my School of IT, but I believe if people need to retake the exam, they would need to pay for that fee of that proctoring for that exam. And with regards to the IT courses, if I can just quickly go back, only the Excel Core, Excel Expert, and the Database Fundamentals have exams. The other ones do not have exams.
Okay, kindly share the website where we can see all the courses offered. So we will be sending out a flyer And Suzanne, will you have a place on the FPD website for ASAP trainings?
Unfortunately, it's not likely because our trainings are linked to our different schools, and ASAP is sponsoring a lot of different courses from the schools. I will see if I can make let me see if I can create a page for ASAP with links to these training products. But I think it's easiest just to go to the FPD schools and see the courses, because we have a lot of other courses. Some of them are sponsored by other parties, or some of them are self-funding.
Okay. Last question that I have here. Thank you organizers for this program of short courses, but I think in future you can provide us with long course sponsorships as motivations to us as implementing partners, especially those who pass the short courses. Is this a possibility to be done in the near future? So to answer that, and I'll let my other colleagues answer, these short courses are offered between May 18th and September 30th. Then we go into the next US government fiscal year. And depending on availability of funds, we might be able to repeat some of these or potentially offer long-term courses. But at this point, we don't have that in our work plan. We'll have to wait for the funding for the next fiscal year to determine if that's a feasibility. But thank you for your interest. Any other comments from the presenters, or if anybody else on the website, on the webinar, want to ask questions in the Q&A?
Catherine, I wanted to get back to, thanks for that option. I wanted to get back to Uganda. I think last year we were in Uganda at least 2, possibly 3 times, sort of offering these courses, what we call them open courses. And that would normally be a number of USAID and or CDC, but this would of course be USAID focused, NGOs and the audit firms. So what we'd be putting on online would be only USAID focused, and certainly for recipients and not auditors. So it's tailored for you. But in general, in the future, there certainly will be open courses, but that wouldn't be funded, as Debbie and Callie said, by USAID directly, not through ASAP.
Thank you, Doug. So just in summary, we will be sending the presentation out. We will also be creating a flyer and sending that out. Open enrollment will start May 18th. And you can sign up anytime between May 18th and September 30th for these courses. We'd really appreciate it if you spread the word amongst your colleagues and your peers in your countries, because we do have so many slots available, and we'd like to help the local partners master the USG rules and regulations, financial management, compliance, M&E, and how to operate during COVID-19. I don't think we have any more questions, except also the schedule of training on Excel advancement and data analytics software tools. So Suzanne, perhaps you could clarify again the e-learning classes on demand.
Okay, so for our training that we deliver online, we have 2 different modalities through which we can deliver the training. The first we refer to on-demand e-learning, which essentially it means that the participant logs onto their computer or their tablet or their phone to access the training material, and they study at their own pace, meaning that they can study in the morning, at night, whenever they feel like it. And because it is self-paced, people can enroll at any time, and then they can start with the studying for them. In terms of the virtual training workshops, we will have to set schedules with dates and times to run these various workshops, because we need at least 10 is the minimum, but preferably 15 to 20 participants to make the virtual training workshop viable. And so that one, we would have to set the schedules based off of interest.
Thank you. That's all the questions. Would USAID like to close the webinar?
Sure. Thank you all. We're really excited to offer these courses, and we hope they will benefit you in implementing your USAID awards and contracts and ensure your programming can move forward effectively, particularly related to the COVID-19 sessions. Hopefully they will be very useful in the current context. And please let us know if you have other interests that were not highlighted here, or as someone asked about longer term courses. This is also really helpful for us to understand what the needs are and what people are interested in. So then, as Catherine noted, when we begin to plan our next fiscal year work plan, we can think about offering additional courses or other kinds of approaches. We hope that these virtual courses will be a wonderful opportunity right now, but that eventually, as COVID-19 crisis evolves, that we hope we can begin to do in-person trainings as well. But stay tuned, and we'll see how that evolves over the coming months and year. But thank you for your interest. Please let us know if you have any questions, and we'll be sure to share this resource out with a listing of courses, and make sure you're ready for registering May 18th. Thank you all for your questions and participation. And with that, and thank you to the presenters for all the great information. With that, we'll close off and look forward to the next session coming up soon too.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you,
Thanks, all.
Suzanne. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.